Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James HSP.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show. I just love that.
I love the canned laughter. It's just so funny.
Hi,
And then
honey.
we should open up on branches, or something. Hi, Cal. How are you?
Hi, I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm great. Really, really great. I'm looking forward to today's show.
Oh, me too. Well,
Yeah.
this is a subject that you and I have, it touches our heart. We've talked about this for many, many years.
We've talked about it for many years, and it's come up a lot lately. And until I did more research on it, I didn't really realize. So it really, everybody is affected by this in one way or another. And after tonight's show, some
Yeah.
people can say, wow, I'm not awake. I'm unconscious. Because a
Well,
lot of people tend to live their lives unconsciously.
absolutely. And consciousness is on a continuum.
Yes, to explain
So,
consciousness to people, that one.
well, so it starts with, everybody's heard the term consciousness, to be conscious, to be awake,
Aware.
actually
Yeah.
aware. So consciousness defines our thoughts. It's how we think, and it's the actions that we take. After that, or before that, comes the subconscious. You've heard of the subconscious.
Mhm.
The subconscious are things that we're kind of not quite in focus yet, but it's something that we kind of know, but we're not really there. It's not quite in focus. And then there's the unconscious. And the unconscious is that's the deep recesses of our mind. It's our memories, it's our past, things that are put so far down that we sadly make choices from this unconscious place. So, because consciousness is on a continuum, it's a skill set to learn how to be aware and to stay aware and to stay awake.
And are there certain people that would like? I don't know if they do it. They are not conscious or are subconscious. I'd say
Mhm.
consciousness is awareness, right? So
It's
if we say
awareness.
subconscious, they're somewhat aware, but not really.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Sometimes with the subconscious, you'll have that aha moment.
Mm,
You
hmm
say, aha, I get it now. That
hmm
means that subconscious thought was almost there, but not quite coming to the surface, and it needed some sort of activity to become aware of it. And so
And,
we're always going from an unconscious place to a subconscious to a conscious awareness.
and many times people, well, during the day, they'll leave their bodies, not being
Yeah.
aware, not being conscious of it, because
Mhm.
it's such an easy thing to do. But when you leave your body, if you will, it's as if your consciousness is in a different space, or you're not aware of that particular moment because you're somewhere else. Would you say
Yes,
that
I would
like
say.
if you're reading a book and you don't remember
Mhm.
what you just read, you got to turn chapter pages back because you don't remember, you're not
Right.
conscious of it. You're somewhere else, and many times leaving the body, that's what happens. It's so painless to leave our body. We leave our body a lot every day, and
Right.
that's what it's like. It's not a big thing, but you're not conscious. So being conscious, aware, right, present,
Mhm. Being present, being
present,
awake, being
being
aware
awake.
of being awake, being aware of your actions. How about that one?
It's a good
Being
one.
conscious, being aware of what you're thinking, what you're doing, how you're responding to people. It takes energy to be awake. And if somebody is very lazy, they would probably have a good thought there that they're probably unconscious or very in some other state of mind.
Sure. I had one the other day, which, it's that a test between being judgmental, which
Oh yeah.
I wasn't, but I was. I'll say I was a little bit, and I have to work on that. But behind somebody in a car, small area, not, and the light turns green. Hello, and time to
Yes.
go. And unconscious or distracted, because people don't be
Mhm.
distracted, not conscious. They're distracted.
That's
Right.
very true, and it's funny that you use the term about driving. Driving's a big one where people go
Big one.
unconscious, and you
Whoa!
can how those
It's
drivers
a
out
motor
there that
vehicle.
they yell at you and they scream, and they're the ones that also have to look at what they're doing. Why are they yelling and screaming?
Very true. Very true.
You know,
Wow.
so
Wow.
all these kinds of ways that all of us need to become more aware through everyday activities, even.
every day activity. And it's funny because as a worker that I've done, you also do. It's just and doing so many years, it is really about being aware, and even the spirit world, to be aware that there's more than just this physical world. There's a world way beyond this world. This is one small little place compared to the myriad of places that are around us. And we humans get so caught up in this little place. There's so much more than just here.
Well, how about when spirit gives us a message or gives us a thought or gives us a book will fall in front of us or something to wake us up or to get us our attention, and
It's
people
true.
will say, "Oh, that's nothing. That doesn't count." That's
Yeah.
hello,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah. I think everybody also has their own belief system and
mhm,
their own mindset. So we have to. Everybody has their own mindset. They,
yep,
just because one person believes something means someone else has to. Everybody is entitled to their own way of thinking.
yes.
That's very, very true. Yeah. Wow.
And people are carrying their own baggage around too. They carry a
And they
lot.
interpret the world in their own way too, right? So everybody makes up their own
Absolutely.
what because they interpret what they see in their
Yep.
own way. It's unique to that individual. So
Yes.
one person's way isn't necessarily the right way or wrong. It's their way. Everybody has their own way.
Yeah.
I think.
And it would come through a lot of family history too. Whatever the belief system was in the family system. Family
Sure.
systems are everything. And in therapy, it's really fun because you can look at the family system and you can, kind of see where the issues come from.
That should be your next book.
Family
Family
dysfunction.
systems. Family systems. It's a good
Family
book.
systems. Yeah.
Family systems. Write that down.
Okay, I will. I still
And
have
I was just
trauma
talking
to
about this.
finish.
We do a lot. We do a lot of this way. This is how we come up with shows. We just chat, and
True.
it comes in, and certain things we'll think of a show idea. Next day it happens. It's like, wow, that's pretty
It's
weird.
so true.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's very, very weird. So I just recently had this unconscious, a friend of mine, and I had to confront this person and say, You did something very unconscious, and um, shouldn't have done that." And I said, "No, I can't have that around me. That was really you hurt someone being unconscious. People can hurt people because they're
Oh, yeah.
unconscious, that they're not aware they're hurting somebody. So it's like,
Yes.
hello, you got to be aware you're hurting somebody. You can't be
Well,
in your own little
and that
world."
seems like a simple thing, doesn't it? To be aware of what if you're going to hurt somebody. There's a real interesting subject called emotional quotient, EQ, emotional quotient, and it's how there's the IQ, so
Yes.
that's the intelligence, how you, and there's the emotional quotient, and emotions have an intelligence, and so if two people are going for a job and you have this one person who's high IQ, and then you have another one that's very aware, very people oriented, understands things, who do you think is going to get that job? The person with the high EQ is going to get that job. Always.
I guess it depends on the job.
Yeah, it depends on the job. But in most cases, that somebody that's that can
Sure, of
see and read a room and understand what's going on
course.
has a higher ability, and that's this emotional quotient, which means they have more awareness.
Hmm. When I was researching for our show tonight, I came up with this, and I just love this because I think everybody will be aware of this. So
Yes.
there are 25 signs that you're unconscious. Are you ready?
25. Let's go.
Okay, number one, you can't stop thinking. You're constantly
Oh,
deep in thought, lost in your own world, unable to shut your mind off, and incessantly thinking all the time about everything. We all know people like that. I got about the worry, about the past, the future, the work, this, that. Can
how
it
many
can
times do we get a question on that? All the time. Yeah.
all the time, right?
Yeah.
Number two, you find it hard to concentrate and focus.
Oh, yeah.
So your mind is all over the place. Your thoughts are scattered. You find it hard to concentrate and focus. And even listening to someone talk for 30 seconds without drifting off into your own world, it's extremely difficult,
So true.
right? And there, like I said, different levels of this for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Number three, you can't meditate for 20 minutes. You can't sit down and meditate for even 20 minutes without your mind going crazy. And when you do sit down, you're constantly thinking to yourself, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Our workshops, we had people like
Right.
this, like, oh,
Right.
you gotta breathe and just calm
Mhm.
down. You find it number four, you find it's hard to be present in the moment. You
Oh,
find
yeah.
it almost impossible to be present in the moment, and most of your time is spent thinking about your past or your future or something other than what you're doing.
Right. So true.
A
That's a
lot of
big
people
one.
have that problem,
Mhm.
and this is my favorite one. 5 is my favorite. I use this all the time. I just used it last week. You talk more than you listen. You
Oh,
you talk a lot more than you
yeah.
listen. Even when it's your turn to listen, you're not really paying attention. You're just waiting for your time to talk. You also have a habit of interrupting others and trying to control and dominate conversations.
Uh, That's a big one.
That's
That's
a
a
big
big
one.
one. Yeah.
It's fun that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, number 6, you're argumentative. You're quick to
Mhm.
argue, interrupt, and you constantly feel that you need to correct people and tell them they're wrong.
Oh, don't you hate that one? Yeah. Oh, pet peeve.
Mhm. You're aggressive. You're aggressive in your body language and the way you speak to people and treat people.
Oh,
Nonviolent communication is a foreign concept.
oof. Wow. That's a good one.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Number 8, you're competitive. You have a strong desire to one up and beat people. I've had that happen to me in
Yeah.
spiritual work. I've had
Yeah.
people who were like, "Oh, you have a TV show. I gotta get one. Or you, I want that." Like, what? 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 It's the
Ah,
weirdest thing.
so
Weirdest thing,
weird.
especially in the
Really
spiritual
weird.
world. Weird. You're intolerant. You find yourself unable to accept people as they are, especially those who don't think the way you do and don't
Mm.
believe what you do. We run into a lot of that.
Oh, please. Mm.
This is a good one. 10. You're reactive. You react emotionally without thinking. A
Yeah.
lot of people do that. Often flying off the handle compulsively as if there was no other option.
Oh, that's a big one in my work. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you a copy of this because
Oh,
this is
I would
pretty good.
love it.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. 11. You're easily annoyed and irritated. You're triggered easily and upset by the smallest of things, and it takes nothing to get in your nerves, to push your buttons, and to provoke you.
Woo, woo. Now we're into the
Well, like
personality disorders.
I was gonna say borderline personality
Yeah.
disorder thing. We're
Yes.
slowly getting into here. Number 12. You're quick to criticize and complain. Just saying. You spend a lot of time criticizing and complaining and judging others. How many friends do we have like that?
Oh my
Hello?
God. I have to laugh. Lisa Sanders here says, "Wow, that's my ex-boyfriend you're describing." Oh, I hear you, Lisa. We got lots of those.
I mean, we all have that, right? We all have
Totally.
that. It's great. Another good one, 13. You're controlled by your emotions.
Oh
You
yeah.
you don't just feel your emotions, they overwhelm you. You're up one moment and down the next.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Time for some psych meds.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Number 14, you enjoy conflict. And there are people that do enjoy conflict, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Enjoy arguing, fighting,
it helps
uh,
them feel alive.
and be in control.
Oh yeah.
Twitter wars, etc. That's or
Mm.
simply watching others. Yeah.
Ugh.
50. Most of your thinking is negative.
Okay. You know how many we have of that.
A lot.
That's a big one. Yeah.
So most of your thoughts are negative, and you often find yourself seeing the world, the worst in people, and speaking negatively about them.
Mm.
That's sad. It's very, very
Yeah.
sad actually to live
Yeah.
like that. 16. You enjoy angry, aggressive, sad music. That's terrible. You enjoy listening to angry, aggressive, sad music because it reflects the way you feel inside. Oh, I don't want to be with that person.
Oh.
Oh, what about like rock, like metal rock when that was out there? I don't know. I couldn't take it. I didn't like it personally.
It's too much for me either.
Here's
Mm.
a tough one. 18. This is a tough one. You take pleasure in the suffering of others.
Well, that's sadistic. That's somebody
That's
who's really
sadistic.
sadistic. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean that unconsciousness there would be off the rails, James.
Okay. I have neighbors like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 19. Here's a good one.
Mm.
You're addicted to social media.
Oh yeah.
You're
Yeah.
addicted to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You feel a compulsive urge to look at your phone and check it every hour of the day.
Oh wow. I mean
Yeah.
that's so much unconscious to that.
A lot
Wow.
of people.
Yeah.
20, you're obsessed with other people. You're outwardly focused and obsessed with other people, celebrities especially, and what they said or didn't say, did or didn't do. Wow.
Mm.
12.
Wow.
Okay. 21, you're closed-minded. You're attached beliefs, and you don't have to have every one of these
Yeah.
25. It's it's all of
Yeah.
them, obviously. Um, you're obsessed with, yeah. You're outwardly focused and obsessed with other people. I told you, closed-minded. You're attached to your beliefs, stuck in your ways, and unwilling to listen to or to even consider any new ideas or anything that challenges your current belief system.
Oh, that's somebody who is so stuck in their belief system.
And that is closing them
So
down. And
yeah.
talk about sleepwalking,
And fear with that. Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
sleepwalking.
Hmm.
23, you're oblivious to your surroundings.
Oh, that's huge.
I just had that
Hmm.
happen in my life with someone. You're
Yeah.
oblivious to your surroundings. When you go for a walk, are you aware of your surroundings, or do you just get lost in thought because became oblivious to your surroundings or to what's around you?
Mm.
24, you use the term woke. Enough said. 25. You don't care if you're unconscious. One of the biggest telltale signs that you're unconscious
Mhm.
is if you don't care whether you're unconscious or not. I
Yeah.
know that when I'm asleep, unconscious somehow, I don't care if I'm acting, speaking, thinking unconsciously. Manages. Who cares? So what? Why does it matter? So there you go.
Uh,
Can everybody relate to that?
yeah.
Some of those I know
Oh,
I certainly can. A lot, 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 lot.
God, those are good ones.
And how do we change that then from being unconscious or not awake to wake up? What would you suggest?
Oh, well, I'm going to say we've got a lot of tips to become conscious, but I have to answer this question first,
Yep,
James. It's
yep, yep, yep.
Karina Harbor says, "What if people have ADHD?
Mm,
Can that
okay.
be unconsciously?" Well, so ADHD is attention deficit disorder, a hyperactivity disorder. So when somebody has that, they often can't sit still. They have to run around. They have to do this. But somebody with ADD or ADHD certainly can be made aware. You would simply point to them and tell them, your behavior is this, da da da, da, and usually they're pretty good at listening to their behavior. Usually they are, because there's something about an ADHD person that is usually very empathic, and you can get them on the empath piece.
I grew
Yeah,
up with it. I was very much that
me
way,
too.
and yep. And I mean, the way I got through it was I found things I loved to do, and
Yeah.
that
And creative and
and
creative.
creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creativity. That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
But
And doing
usually
good things.
they can hear things pretty well. So it's not it's a I think it's a blessing, actually, ADHD. That's the way I view it.
I think that I wouldn't be doing the job I'm doing without ADHD because
Me
yeah,
either. Me
the
either. It's been a
vibration.
godsend. Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
So, okay, so here's some tips to become conscious,
Oh,
everybody.
good.
So,
Write these
first thing,
down. Okay.
yeah, and the first thing is write down your feelings and your thoughts. Now, you could keep a little journal, you can keep whatever, but let's say you're feeling whatever it is. You wake up in the morning, start writing down some of your feelings, or during the day. Let's say you get mad at somebody, write down your feelings. The interesting thing about this, in about 3 months, you'll look back at this and say, boy, did I feel that way? It starts to wake you up. And that's why writing your feelings down and your emotions are important. So that's tip
True.
number one. Tip number two, draw a timeline of your life.
That was great. I've done
Eh,
that. I've done that in a journal form, and it
mhm.
works. It really does work.
It
Yeah.
works. So what you want to do, you want to start with your birth, and you want to go through the major events in your life, whatever those were. They could be specifically a big impact, a low impact, big or small, positive or negative. It doesn't really matter. The reason you want to do this is because it's going to help you think developmentally. And when you
Mhm.
think developmentally, you start to become more self-aware. Okay, so it's a big one. So that's a good one.
And you're also aware of your concurrence or patterns that you're living.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So number three, do some micro travel. Now, when you travel, I know nobody can really go anywhere, but let's say you go to a store that you haven't been, or a little town that you haven't been, even if it's just driving through. And the reason you do that is it gets you out of your routine, and that's going to be really important to get you out of a routine, because then you become self-aware. You have to
Mm.
become more aware of your surroundings, more aware of people that you're seeing. So these are all things to wake you up. So here's
Mhm.
another one. Learn a new skill,
I
whatever
just
that
put
new
that down. Do
skill.
something new. You just
Yeah,
said it.
new skill, whatever, because it throws us into a pattern. If you don't do anything new, it throws you into the same pattern. Doing something new wakes your brain up and make up, oh, look, I like doing this. I'm good at this. You start thinking, you become more aware. This is a good thing. And number five, which I just love this, identify cognitive distortions. So a cognitive is how you think, and a distortion is a distorted thought. Okay. So you really have to look at identifying some of your distorted thinkings. And I'm going to give you an example of one of my distorted thinkings. And this is just an example of me. My whole life, I assumed I was very unaware of doing my own hair. You'd think I've got all this hair. You'd think I'd know how to do it. I didn't. I didn't have a clue how to do it. And I always went out to have it done. And in 2020, we couldn't do that. But my assumption, my distorted thought pattern was, I can't do that. I could never do my own hair. I never could do my own hair, ever. And that was just, I don't know where I got it. I got it years ago. Who knows where I got it? And then I had no choice. I had to do it. And then I had to become aware of my feelings, my fear of it. I had to overcome my fear of it. And now it's been a whole year that I've done my hair, and I think, I can't believe how far I've come with that. And that was an awareness that I took something that I didn't think in a million years that I would even attempt to have thought, because I was so afraid of it. I was so afraid of everything with this. So
So
that's a distorted thought.
and that goes along, Kelly, with also do something you're uncomfortable doing. Try something new that you're uncomfortable,
Yes.
that you think you're
Abso-
uncomfortable doing.
Absolutely. To
Like me,
try something new.
climbing a tree, try climbing a hill, which
Well, and that's what you've been doing. You've been doing all kinds of
I've
new
been doing things.
things.
I do things every day,
Mhm.
every day, and I'm
Really.
feeling it. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. But just pay attention to, if you have a negative thought, pay attention to the negative thought, because that negative thought is telling you something about you that you need to know. You might be a negative thought about somebody else, but really go into yourself and think, what is it about me? And start having some awarenesses. A good place to start is also actually with a therapist. Usually, it's a good place to start if you have a lot of issues you think you might want to work through. It's a good place to start.
What is the root of that negative thought? Where is it coming
Yes.
from? Where's
Where's
the
it coming
root of it?
from? Mhm.
It's very, very
Yeah.
good one. Good to have. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't be
And,
afraid. It's a fun thing to do to wake up. It's a great thing. It's how we make good choices in the world. We make good choices when we're aware.
and also, Kelly, I want to say another great one, which we talked about before the show, is try to be positive. Everything, even if
Oh,
something
yeah.
is negative, turn around and make it positive.
Yes.
Be an optimist,
Mhm.
even though things don't appear that way. Be an optimist because the things will work out, and they're meant
Mhm.
to. It's just
Yeah.
learning isn't always easy, you know, and there are
Well, it's
setbacks.
it's really funny that you said that. It's not learning is not always easy. And
No,
again, this is a continuum. It's just a
right.
continuum. And just
We're not
because something
stagnant. We're always
we're
moving,
always
always
moving.
moving.
And if something's not easy, it's okay. You just keep going. You just keep trying. You just keep waking yourself up, because you want to make good choices. If you can't do it for you, do it for your children. Do it for your anybody around you if you can't do it for yourself. But you do want to wake up. This is a perfect opportunity, this 2021, to wake up, have some awareness of everything, who you are, how do you like your eggs, what's your life like, who are you, what do you stand for. That's this year.
Yeah. And Spirit also talks about when we go through these situations, or we call them traumas or whatever, they call them passages. We go through
Oh,
passages.
explain that. I like
Well,
that.
it's a time and space and time that the soul will go through,
Mhm.
that whether it's a lesson they're learning that they've signed up for, or it comes into their life and there's something happens dramatically, perhaps, or in their business, they lose their job, or they move to a play location, they lose someone physically to death. These are passages. They go. These will
Ah,
end. These are just a passage of time. It's just going through it is really what it is, because you'll come out the other end. You will get another job. You'll get a new place to
yes.
live. You will see your loved ones again. They're always around you. There is no end. So it's the passages. It's how you deal with those. And we grow sometimes the most during passage time.
Oh,
How we
yeah.
handle those passages. Sometimes we grow the most. For instance, a mother, thousands of readings with mothers and fathers losing their children, and I can tell you that there are people that have become professional grievers,
Mhm.
or many other parents will write a book about it, or they will do something that their child always
Right.
wanted to achieve in life, and they'll do it for them. They'll open a foundation. So there's ways that we can use that passage, that time
Right.
that the things don't seem a little out of order, and realize that we're going to get through it. It's just a little time. It's a pause. It's a pause.
I loved how you said that, where things seem a little out of order, because
Out of
that's
order.
really how life is, isn't it? Sometimes things will be out of order, then we'll get them in order, and then they'll get out of order again.
My mantra I've used for many years now is, and I say it all the time, you can just imagine, it is what it is, and that's all that it is.
Yeah.
It is what it
Yeah.
is. I'm not going to give it any energy. It is what it is. I can't change
No.
it. That's what it is. I'm not going to worry
Mhm.
about it. Why give that energy to it? It is what it is, and that's what it is. Can't change
Yes.
people. Can't change situations.
Nope.
Just remain in that centered mindfulness spot. Be mindful of yourself, of the world around
Mhm.
you. Be mindful of how your thoughts and words affect other people. Be
Yes.
mindful of the space that you're taking up. Be mindful
Mhm.
of the space that you're at someone's house, or in a store or a restaurant. Be aware of the other people in the store or restaurant.
And
Be
on that note, be aware how somebody might be feeling.
That's right.
Pay
That's right.
attention to somebody else.
And if someone
Mhm.
comes in and yell at you, or in the store, or scream, or the bedroom, don't react. Don't react.
Yeah.
Stop, a few breaths, and realize they come from something negative happened to them,
Right.
and they're just taking it out. Now, if they take it a person, you say, "Excuse me, that's not fair," and you have
Right.
to bring them to it. But realize that they've gone through. There's a background there. They've gone through
Right.
something.
Here, Ashley Saponair says, if you can get that, Renee, I'm in a passage
Oh
time.
yeah.
So
Oh
I love
good.
that.
Yeah.
I've been so angry, and there's likely grief beneath it all. I don't think I'm alone either.
No,
This
you're not.
pandemic has been so challenging for so many. Oh, Ashley, it really
And,
has been.
and actually, it's a great comment you made, and
Yeah.
my hat is off to you because yes, a lot of people are angry. So if I say to you, "What are you angry about?" There's a great time now to find out where it's coming from, as Kelly mentioned. Go deep within and find
Mhm,
out. Do the exploration, or I like to call it
mhm.
the art of discovery.
Yeah.
Because if it's coming up for you, there's something you have to look at differently and change
Mhm.
something around, change your thinking, open up, expand a different way. It's why these things happen. If everything was okay for us and the same, and there were no changes or challenges, life would be pretty boring. Life would be
Right?
real
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
So we have these for a reason. We have to grow, but never
Yeah.
lose sight of who we are. We are loving beings,
Mhm.
and someone else might not be in that same space that you at. My good friend Kellee White said, you know, they're limited. They're not at that level. Maybe they're at a different level than you are. Even
Yeah.
those are beyond you. You might not understand them. That's
Right.
fine. We're all at different
Right.
levels.
And again, it's always on a continuum. We're on different levels, but everybody can keep going and learn everything that they can while you're here. It's a good. So Glinda Sullivan says, "How can you always stay positive when you
Why?
have a
Why
sister
not?
that drains your energy?" Oh,
Kellee,
Glinda, did you write that to me personally? She knows everything about her neighbors and is constantly negative. I dread her telephone phone
wow,
calls. I don't mean to
wow.
laugh, Glenda. I really, truly, honest from the bottom of my heart, feel your pain. Um,
Why take her
well,
phone calls?
well, here's the thing, Glenda. James and I and Shirley are
Head
doing
through it.
Bad Siblings this Sunday, or this Saturday afternoon, and you might want to join us for Bad Siblings. But when you have somebody that you're around that's constantly
A family
negative,
member.
family member, you have to learn boundaries. You
Mhm.
have to learn boundaries. I always look at, why is this person in my life? Because we choose our family before we incarnate.
What are they
Why?
teaching me?
What are we teach? What is she teaching me, and what am I teaching her?
Yeah,
What exactly?
people are a mirror to yourself. So what is it that you have to bring back to heal? That's
Yeah.
not you're not fully centered with it yet. So you're going to
Yeah.
stand up for yourself, perhaps, and boundaries for sure, definitely. No one
Yeah.
should live like that ever. No one should be the doormat. No one should be the doormat. I don't
No.
care who they are, family, friends. Nope,
Right.
sorry, not going to
Mhm.
happen.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Any advice, Alina says, on dealing with unconscious people at work? Oh, good question. I've been
Good
trying to raise
question.
their vibration and be mindful of my vibration through James's HSP course. It can be challenging to work with them. That's interesting, Alina. I wonder if you can start slowly making some suggestions to people,
Right.
possibly.
So I would suggest that you don't fully get fully vested into this like 100% of the time you're at work.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
would throw out positive comments, something different, and just do that all the time. Make
Yeah.
it positive. Change that energy up. And they're gonna wonder, gosh, she's positive. I wonder why she's positive. Why is she always so nice? And that's a good thing. So I
Mhm.
would start that way, and don't go in thinking everybody's really out there to attack me. They're nasty. They're angry. A lot of people are, but you don't have to be that way. Try
Right.
turning it to a positive. They're negative to a positive. That always helps.
Yeah. And
And
keep your
it's a process. It's an
It's a
experiment.
process.
You know,
Yeah, I like that. It's an experiment.
like using planting. It's like it's a scientific experiment. Every time I plant something, we'll see what happens. It's an experiment.
And have some fun with it,
Have fun with it. Enjoy the ride.
Right. So wait, Patanza says, but are they unconscious if they keep repeating the same hurtful
Yes.
actions and words?
Yes,
Yes.
they are.
Yep.
Yes. And maybe you have to
Um,
point it out to them, and they might hear you or they might not. I mean,
yeah.
if they're really fully into it, they might not hear you, but you don't need that in your life. You
Right.
don't need that. I mean, come on, that's not right. I heard
No.
someone speak to somebody so nasty, and it was like, you screamed at this old lady. Oh my goodness, how could you do that? How could you do that? And just, I couldn't take that. That was not, no, that's not good.
Oof.
No, we got to
It's
be
hard to
aware
be
of that.
around that kind of unconscious when somebody's that unconscious, James. It's
And
tough
it's
to be
negative
around.
energy. It's
Hmm.
negative. It's damaging. It's
Hmm.
not good. No, not good.
Mm-mm. No,
Yeah.
no, it's not good at all. Let's
And then
see.
let me goes into also like when we like I play this game, I guess you'd say, but I'm very aware in a shopping market, like a store.
Mhm.
Um, I'm if we want to call it conscious, unconscious. I'm very aware there are people that are very unconscious as they're walking down the aisles, whatever, that's fine, but they don't see you. And I will say something nice to them. How are you today? How are you doing? Or at a waiter coming to wait at my table with them. Can I take your order? First of all, how are you doing today? How are you? How has your day been? And they love it, and it makes them be there in the moment. It
It
makes them
wakes
aware.
them up.
It wakes them up, and
Yeah.
they're validated. So
Yeah.
that's one thing everybody can do is do that. Have fun with that. Acknowledge people more. Acknowledge people. Smile at people. At the traffic lights, just stop. I wave. Hi. Do like crazy. Hi, because they were like trying to get their phone. I'm like, hi.
That's a good
What
one.
other people think of you is none of your business. That's right.
Oh, Adeline Mersch says, "Hi, Kellee. Will the toxic siblings web?" Yes, it will be recorded. If we can't make the time but purchase a ticket, can we watch it later? Yes, you can. Great question. Thank you. Yes, you can.
And Kelly and I also are doing an event together.
Woo!
Our first evening of spirit this year is February 26th. So that'll be coming up Friday, a week from Friday. And it's the first one we're doing this year. And it's a new one, new opening and a
You
new
guys are gonna love it.
it's
You're
yeah,
gonna love it.
it's gonna be a little different than I attended before, but it's gonna be I'll probably be dead at the end of it, but I'll be
It's
doing
gonna be so fun.
readings. But yeah, I miss it.
Oh,
I haven't done messages. I've done readings in a long time. I haven't done my mediumship, and so it's the longest period I've not done
well,
mediumship
when
in my
was the
life.
last time you did this? In November? Did
November, November.
Yeah. We
So it's
were
been a
busy
long
there.
time.
It's every other Friday.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So that was the
Wow.
last time. So I've had some time off. So it'll be quick,
It'll be
and
great.
it'll
It'll
be
be
great.
so
Yeah,
fun. I
so
mean,
February
people get
26th.
messages. They love it. It's gonna
People
be
get in the room, just they hear one person's message,
yeah.
it affects everybody. So go to eventpraagh.com. I'm going to go there and register on the events, and you'll get a ticket.
Um, let's see. Emerald says, "Hello to you both. If Jesus brings you to it, he'll bring you through this. I always remember this. It helps me to realize that we can learn from the situation and it is our soul's work to fix it."
Oh, that's great. That's
That's
fantastic.
a
Love
good
that.
one.
That's a real nice one. Very, very nice.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And just think
Um,
of all the good that you do when you're in a good mood. You say something nice to somebody. There's that rippling effect. You're sending out positive, good energy. And
right.
don't you like to be a recipient of good energy? So
Oh
that
yeah.
way, create it then. Put your little bit out to the world. You can do that.
Mhm. Oh,
Everybody should
for
do that.
sure.
And
Oh
that's
my.
also will keep you centered. That'll keep you conscious of being
Mhm.
aware, treat other people kindly. You have something that they need. Maybe it's a smile, maybe it's a kind word. Um, I've
Yeah.
been known, some people said, "You're too generous." I don't know, but I give away my furniture, clothing, whatever. But I know someone else might need that and enjoy it as much as I have. And or
Yeah.
just, I don't know, smiling, talking to people. Everybody knows me at my store. Everybody knows me. And they didn't know who I was until I gave them a book once. Like, "Hi." Yeah. But it's great just to talk to people, and people miss that, especially because of COVID. Everyone's home. People
Yeah.
need that more now. So, as we go through this healing, let's
Boy,
do
they
that.
sure do, James. They really do need
Yeah.
it more. I mean, I find myself even at the supermarket when I get to go once every 2 weeks, I'll say, "Hello, how are you?" And they love it. And they'll start telling me their stories,
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
tough. And it's tough for them. You know it. They do
I,
need a
I,
break.
I'm all excited because tonight's my Target run.
Yeah, you get to go to Target
And
today.
I've so many great experiences and philosophical experiences waiting in line with this one guy. We had a great conversation. This one man, he was traveled all over the world, and yeah, it's interesting. You never know who you're going to meet, and it's just great. I love it, the
Yeah.
excitement.
Yeah.
Whose lives you're going to touch, and he's going to touch your lives. And every day, remember, people that come into your lives every day is a student or a teacher. Always remember that.
I love that. I love that.
True.
Um, let's see here. Okay, my mom has dementia and we live together and we also work from home. I have no energy left. How can I help myself versus others? Hmm. That's not an easy one, Sandy.
Just someone saying that can help, like a sibling, or can you
Mhm.
possibly get help from outside? Some friends maybe come in, split the time,
Yeah.
because you can't kill yourself, right? Can't do
Yeah.
that. You hopefully get outside services that might be able to help as well. A
Yeah.
lot of times, family members think that everything weighs down on them, and in certain circumstances, like this one, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to
Yeah.
sacrifice your life for for that. I know your mom would want that, but it's a tough one. But see if there's anywhere else you can get help to take care of your mom.
Even if it's just a short period of time during the day for you, you
Yeah,
know.
it's a break for twice a week or something.
Yeah.
You
It's
deserve it.
it's so true. I work with so many young moms too that are home working with their kids during COVID and young dads, and it's rough.
It's rough.
This is not an easy time.
No,
We
it's a
all
rough
know
time.
that. It's a rough time.
It's a rough time. I'm sure we're
You know,
all
I
growing, and we're growing in ways we never expected. Once we pass over, like, wow,
right? Don't you think when we
has
get
to
there
be,
that we're
should
going
be,
to be like, "Whoo,
has to be. Oh
did
yeah,
we learn a lot on this trip?"
wow, 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 wow. Yeah,
That's the way I want to think about it.
me too.
Um,
That's why I am
uh,
thinking about it. Wow, it's really teaching us something.
Cornelia says, meditate, have others help you so you don't burn out. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
good. And meditation is also a great form of consciousness, of raising your consciousness and awareness.
It is.
Hmm.
Even if you take a walk, nature walk, look at the tree, look at the flowers, become
Hmm.
aware of the air. That's also being mindful, being aware of
Being
your
aware.
surroundings.
Griselle Guerra says, how do you find out what your life purpose is? Are there signs to look for?
Wow,
Yes.
I would say so. Number one, what are you passionate about?
Yeah.
That's the number one,
That's number
passion.
one. Yeah.
You have to inside your heart has to speak to you, not your head,
Mhm.
your heart. And don't measure by what other people want you, your family to do, someone else wants you to do. Do what you want to do. That's what your
Yes.
purpose is. What do you feel satisfied in doing?
Yeah.
And work your way to it. So it could be, I don't know, a president of the United States. Work your way to it. You'll have to go through,
Mhm.
jobs, political jobs, but you can get as high as you can. That's the way to do it. Your purpose. Find out what's your passion, what's inside your heart. Mine was helping people. And that's what mine was
Mhm.
always about helping people be of service, and I ended up being a medium. Kelly, same thing. So
Same thing,
service
always.
people.
Hmm. It is. And don't have any fear, and it's not too late. You haven't missed the boat.
No.
Keep going. That's my
Yes.
quote. You haven't missed the boat. Keep
Keep
going.
going. Keep on rowing. Keep
Keep
on
on
rowing your own
rowing.
boat. Don't let row someone else's. Row your own.
Oh my God.
Because you know where you're going, they might not. Yes.
Oh, Sandy Eller says, thank you for the positive vibe you send. It makes a difference to know that we are not alone on the most difficult of times. That's thanks, Sandy. You're not
Sandy,
alone on
thank
the
you.
most difficult of times. You
Never.
guys are not alone.
And some of the messages that came through since COVID, Spirit keeps on
Yeah.
saying over and over, please tell everybody we're with you. We're with you.
Yes.
And it was really interesting because Kelly, you might be aware of this. I'm just going to say it in a strange sounding way. That let's say there are legions of spirit around the world, or legions. The word legions comes to me around the world, being aware of the physical, of the human, helping humans. We have guides and so forth. Legions. Well, I will tell you right now that since this COVID experience, there's been extra legions, can I say it that way?
Yes.
Other layers and
Mhm.
layers of beings, and I'm very, very aware of it, and they've told me that. So there are those who are influencing us,
Yep.
inspiring us in ways we were not before, and they're trying to help us. And they can help us if we help ourselves, if we open up the possibilities. But if we stay
Yes.
sad and depressed and closed down and unconscious,
Yep.
we're not going to feel it. We're not going to be helped. So we got to wake up and put your head
Yeah.
up and become aware. Aware.
Absolutely. I had a great quote on that, but I can't find it now. But I had a great quote on that. But it's very true to stay
Oh,
awake.
this is from Lori Schmaltz. I'm sorry, I just in my book I write about the hurt from my mother's verbal abuse growing up. I don't want to write with malice about anyone, but I told the truth. She has passed, and it hurts me to think of her, of putting her in a bad light for generations to come. I wasn't too harsh, but we were just kids. Well, you were just a child, and that was your experience. You've grown from it. You still don't feel that way about her. She obviously doesn't feel that way about you. So that was a passage. That was a situation where you had learned from that, and you're a better person from it. I'm sure she is too now. So that was the past.
And one thing I do want to say, Lori, is telling the truth is a really great way to becoming more aware.
Very true. Very.
You
It,
know,
it's a key. It's one of the
it's the
keys.
keys. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's a good thing. Don't beat yourself up for that, please.
No, somebody had to stop that intergenerational madness, and it sounds like you did.
Yes. A
And
lot
you,
of light people, a lot of light
mhm.
beings who come back to help planet are here cutting off generational, you know,
Very true. Hmm.
yeah, I want to say curses, not curses, but
Well,
generational patterns, if you will.
right, right. Well, we are, and
Yeah.
uh, because we do carry. lifetimes of traumas from generations, and then going forward, if you don't stop the madness, if you will, if you don't become aware.
It's very, very true.
Yeah. So Maria says, when going through a spiritual awakening, how do you manage to not feel so alone and when it seems no one around you gets you?
But you get you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I find that the spiritual road can be lonely,
Right.
I guess. But I personally love solitude. I get excited by finding something out, something new. I don't need people to make me feel happy about myself. I've always been like
Yeah.
that though. So I think that we have to have a sense of solitude. It goes back to loving yourself deep within yourself and finding
Mhm.
things about yourself that you're curious about. How do you tick? The art of discovery. I think that's where you got to start from.
Yeah.
And because when you say people don't get you, that you're looking to them to validate who you are. Who cares what they think? They're not you.
Right.
They're not you. You get you.
Right.
That's what matters. Again, what other
Right.
people think of you is none of your business. They don't measure you. We're all different. Each person is a snowflake. We're unique, just like the snowflakes.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
A lot of people fall into that trap of trying to fit in or be
Oh,
normal, and I gave up years ago.
oh.
I believe normal. I don't think there is anything. So just be yourself, really.
It's
Right?
so true. I remember my
Much
mom would
happier.
say, Here's the box, Kelly. Stay in the box." I'd say, "I don't see the damn box." "Where's the box?" "I'll
Boring. The
try."
box is boring. Boring. Can't do the box.
Oh my
I think you'll
gosh.
learn a lot more when you step out of the box. I think you'll learn a lot more. And
Yeah.
life is for learning. Life is having adventures and jumping in. You don't want to pass
Right.
the other side and say, "Oh wow, I wasted so much time. Why didn't I just jump out of that box?"
Right.
I've had a
Right.
lot of messages. I had thousands of messages from spirit that come through and said that my book Unfinished Business. I talk all about that. But the
Yeah.
spirits that pass over and they come back and say, "Oh, if only I knew then what I know now, I'd have made better choices. Why didn't I do that?" We talked about last week. Had
If
no
we
shouldas,
did,
wouldas, or couldas.
right.
Very
I
true.
mean, why didn't I learn that lesson? You
Yeah.
know? It's so interesting. Kai Elliott, I'm so lonely. I moved to a new city right now, right before COVID hit. Wow, I've been quarantined a year now. I don't know anyone here. How can I feel better?
Kelly, what would you suggest?
I would start taking some classes on James's site. He's got a great school, the mystical school, and there's all kinds of classes there. I'd start learning everything I could about myself. I'd have the greatest relationship with myself ever.
Right. It's a great time to discover
Great
you,
time.
Kai. Don't run away
Mhm.
from yourself. Find out about you. It sounds
Yeah.
like you're running away from yourself.
Yeah.
Again, you don't need to measure up to anyone else. You need you. You're a
Yep.
great person. You're not even getting deeply into yourself. You have to go in and find out about yourself. You'll find a lovely being there, a lovely, lovely being.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Say, okay. Pure bliss 2021. My boyfriend is asleep as far as spiritually, but we love each other so deeply. And I feel like we're soulmates and genuinely love each other's company, even though we have
Right.
nothing in common spiritually. Everybody grows at a spiritual rate differently, don't you think, James?
Without a doubt. So souls come together for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, and
Mhm.
certain souls come together to form a family, or certain experiences or
Right.
situations have to happen, and then they split apart.
Mhm.
And some people grow more spiritually than others. Some people grow in other ways. We all grow differently. So, I just ended a 23-year relationship because we were growing apart in different ways, and it wasn't right to try to hold it together. My parents and their generation, they had to stay together because they were Catholic and couldn't divorce. Boy, it
Right.
would have been a lot better if they did divorce. Of course, I wouldn't be here now, but yeah, I think that it hurts the children too. I do. I think children pick that up very easily.
Oh, of
So
course they do. They
yeah,
do.
yeah. Life
Oh,
is too short not
thanks.
to be happy. Life is too short
Right.
not to be happy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Liz. Thank you both. She just
Thanks,
loved this
Liz.
live session. So
Uh,
Debbie Foster Horan says we all travel the spiritual journey on different levels. We can't wait for others to catch up to us, or we allow them to hinder and slow our growth process. Boy, that's the truth.
right
That
on.
is the truth. Right on, Debbie. That is the truth. Don't let anybody slow you down because it gets in your awareness then slows down.
I
And
just had that happen in my life. I had someone who was very aware, spiritually aware, supposedly, but they kept on I don't know. It was almost like the vision I had was, you're walking. Also, you have to look back, and they're back there tying their shoe. We're kids.
Yes.
And you go walking, walking, and they're back there tying their shoe because whatever. It's like, yeah, you think they're evolved, but they're not. They're still learning things back there. You can't let others slow you
Right.
down. Even if you want to
Yeah.
be compassionate and help people as best as you can, the wonderful saying that you can only lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
It's very, very true. And
Yeah.
even people who have readings from myself and Kellee, who have incredible evidential readings, they want to tell their families and partners and say, oh, they won't believe it. Well,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not ready for it.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. So,
Yeah.
just put the seeds out there, just sow some
Right.
seeds. That's what you can do. You can't force anybody to grow. You're here to grow for yourself.
Right. And the more awareness you have, the faster you grow.
It's
Do you
very
know
true.
more
Very.
awareness, the faster you go, faster you grow. And then what happens is then you meet somebody who's in the slower lane and it's either up to you whether you want to go back in that lane or you want to, but I don't know if I'd spend too much time trying to bring somebody to where you are.
I would do that. I
Yes.
find also, Kellee, that the more aware one becomes, the more centered or more mindful.
Yeah.
Um, from my experience, you tend to become more aware of the global, of more people. You
Yeah.
have more awareness of others around you, not just
Yeah.
your world, but others.
Mm.
It really is that cosmos type of feeling
Mhm.
you have, that sense that you're in it together, that we're all one. That oneness comes in very strongly. The sense of oneness
Right.
comes in. I've learned that
Oh,
sense of
I have
oneness,
too.
and
That
that my
sense of oneness.
one word can hurt that person, not that, but everybody. One word can hurt
Mhm.
everybody. So we got to be very careful. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I find that sometimes television news, I can't watch it because it's putting negative things out. And it's like, just for entertainment purposes. Come on, it's just, so we gotta bring it up. Do
Right.
something
We have,
positive.
we have to bring it up. That's so true. Um, let's see here. Okay, Anne Sorella Mitz. James, you helped encourage me back in 2006 when spirits started poking me. We chatted in your chat room one evening, and what you said helped me so much.
Oh, that's great,
Oh,
Anne. Oh, great, great, sweetheart. I'm glad you listened to the advice and it worked. I'm very glad. Good for
yeah.
you. Very good
It's
for you.
good to hear that validation, isn't it, James? It's good to
It
hear
is.
how
It
people
is.
have grown, you know?
Yes, it's amazing. I mean, it's happening now to me. It hasn't happened before, but it's
Yeah.
happened the past 2 or 3 years. A lot of people come up to me and said, "Oh, your book helped me, and all this, and that, and the reading you gave me, and so
Yeah.
and so." And I don't remember any reading, but you rarely, as you rarely hear from people after you give out a reading. You rarely will hear from people how
Yeah.
it affected their lives, somebody else's lives. But when that does happen, it's pretty incredible. And I just think
Mhm.
the intelligence of the spirit world, and I just am so grateful that you see it at work. Because
Yeah.
we're just here the voice piece. We don't know the effect it'll have on
No.
many others. So we're just doing our job. It's
Yeah.
great to know it works. I
Yeah.
won't know till I pass over to see all of the impact, really.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. I once said Shirley MacLaine, I said, Shirley, and this is interesting. I said, Shirley, do you realize how much you help people with your entertainment, your books, you open people up? And she floored me. She said, no, what? You
Okay.
most
Flat
well-known
out,
celebrity
no.
stars. Just nope, 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 nope. Taurus with Virgo rising. Yeah,
Hysterical.
yeah, nope. And in a way, I thought, it's probably better that she doesn't know that because she probably wouldn't be as good if she did know that. That
It
humility
is funny
probably helps.
because she wrote those deep books about, I mean, she was one of the first ones to write them.
Out on a
Out on a
limb.
limb. Yeah.
I wrote her a thank you letter, and this is before I did anything spiritual. That book opened me up for that. And at the time, I was working for Norman Lear, who was responsible for All in the Family and sitcoms, and I was
Right.
working for his organization called People for the American Way. It was an organization to fight the religious right. And I
Ooh.
had created a celebrity garage sale, I thought. And I had some addresses of celebrities and so forth. And she was one of them I had. And after I read that book, I thought, I got to write her a letter. And I've never done that before. And didn't know her. And I wrote her a thank you because it really opened me up. And I didn't think I'd hear anything. Christmas Eve, I get a card in the mail from Shirley MacLaine. And it says, James, thank you for your wonderful thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate it. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to you and your world of cherries. And then, yeah. And then after that, I went to a medium, like 2 years later, and had a magazine, Interview magazine. Do you remember Interview
Yeah, I
magazine,
sure
Andy
do.
Warhol? And she was on the cover. I just had it with me. And he said to me, the spirit world is telling me, you keep on doing what you're doing. You're going to meet her one day. And now we're good friends. So it's very strange how it all works out. It all works out. And
Amazing.
I didn't seek to go after her to find her. It just happened that way. So
Wow. I
everything's
love that.
everything and anything is possible in this world.
Wow. Peter Redgrove, live life as though it's an
Ah,
unfolding work of art. Oh, I
thank
love
you,
that.
Peter. So Peter Redgrove is my best friend who, thank you, Peter. I just wrote your blurb today for you. Peter and I were friends back, wow, in the 80s, Los
Mm.
Angeles. And I did an event for AIDS Project Los Angeles. And he came to the event and someone came through for his friend. And since that time, he came for private reading in those days. And his partner passed, came through. And also a nun came through and apologized. And he understood that. He was raised in an orphanage, and this nun used to beat him.
Oh,
And he apologized. And also, someone came through and said, "I think it's your brother Michael. I think it was Michael is here. He wants to say hello." And he goes, "I don't have a brother, Michael. You do." Is this an aunt? I think it was someone from the spirit said that. And he went home and called his aunt in England, and she said, "How do you know that?" He said, "Well, I just went to a medium." And said, "Yes, your mother had a boy, and that was a name, but he died before you were born, and we didn't want to say anything." So that's Peter, and Peter's a wonderful, wonderful man
wow.
who's actually changing his life at 70 something years old, and he's going to life. He's an incredible people person, and he is working with people to find their careers. Recruit me for the recruitment headhunters. He's very good at reading people, what their abilities and skills are. So
So he has a high EQ.
very high Pisces, and I'm helping him set that up. I'm
Ooh.
helping him set that up. So he'll be a guest on our show when
Oh,
it's
I
all.
would love to meet
He's a great
him.
one. Everyone should know Peter Redgrove. He's a lovely, lovely soul. I wouldn't be here
Oh,
right now. He pushed me to write Talking to Heaven. He was the man that
ah,
pushed me. He was the number one influence to write the book. I was not going to write it. He pushed me every week because he sat in a development circle with me. And he said, "They tell me you have to write this book. You have to write this book." If it wasn't for Peter, we would not be here right now. So that's Peter Redgrove.
Peter, I
Yeah.
can't wait to have you on the show, honey.
Peter's a
I
lovely
can't
soul.
wait.
Lovely, lovely soul. Yes, well blessed. Yes,
Wow. Thank you
yes.
for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, great. Glad you're
Wow.
here, Peter.
Me too.
Yes, this is a lovely Kellee White I've told you about so often. Oh, look at this. Karina Habert, born in Germany, and most of my family are Germans. When I was 7, I came here to America and lost my German language. When I die and meet my German family, how do we communicate? Through thoughts.
Yeah.
So we communicate telepathically. So it doesn't matter what language because that's of the human. Just like when I do messages in Brazil or Japan, it doesn't matter because it's all thoughts that come through. So
Mhm.
you don't speak verbally over there, you telepathically. And also you see each other in, I would say, the colors of your character. The
Mhm.
character you wear, the what we call robes, spirit robes, or your character is what you wear. The colors based upon the life you lived on the earth.
Mm.
Amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, Candace Fisher says, I can't wait to see you February 26th,
Yes.
Friday night. That is going to be a great evening of spirit, everybody.
Very much so. Well, I'm going to have to get going because I
I
have my
know.
little Target run. I have to meet my friend
I
at Target, and yeah, I'm at Target.
Don't get in
So
the way of
I'm so
Target,
excited.
everybody.
I'm so excited. I have 3 masks. I'm not sure which one to wear.
Oh, James.
People come up to my friend Denavia. I go with her, and we laugh and have the greatest time down these aisles. And people come up to us and say, "What are you 2 laughing at?" It's so good to see people laughing. We've had that happen
Oh,
twice because we just joke all the way down the aisles with Target. You make the best of everything.
have fun at Target. I miss
Thank
Target.
you.
We don't have them out here, so I really miss it.
It's
Have
fun. It's
fun.
fun. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Renee.
Thanks,
Thanks, Kelly.
everybody. Thank you,
Thank you, everybody,
Renee.
for tuning
Bye,
in.
James.
Okay, bye-bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.